We begin in a world without sun, a realm that has never known the warmth of daylight, existing in a state of perpetual silent twilight. It is an environment utterly alien to our surface-dwelling instincts, a place where the familiar rules of gravity and air and light are suspended. Here, deep beneath the Florida scrubland, the only constant is the gentle, unyielding pressure of the water column above, a silent weight that reminds any visitor of their profound distance from home. The water itself is ancient, filtered through limestone for millennia, creating a clarity that can be deceiving, a window into an abyss that seems to have no end. It is a place of profound blackness, suspended in water. This is not the simple dark of a moonless night. It is an absolute, primordial void, a physical presence that absorbs all energy, all thought. To be here is to be enveloped by an emptiness so complete it feels solid. In this immense chamber, larger than any cathedral, direction loses its meaning. Up and down become abstract concepts, defined only by the slow, rhythmic pull of exhaled bubbles and the steady orientation of the diver's own body. The silence is broken by a single metronomic sound. The sound is a low, muffled thrum, the sound of one's own breathing, distant and solitary. A mechanical heartbeat, each inhalation a measured delivery of life, each exhalation a cloud of fleeting silver that vanishes back into the dark. It is the only tether to the living world, a constant, intimate reminder of the fragile machinery that makes this journey possible. Every breath is a conscious act, a negotiation with an environment that offers no second chances. Then, a single, powerful beam of light cuts through the void. It is a blade of pure white, a stark declaration of intent against the crushing black. This light is more than just illumination. It is consciousness. It is the focused will of the explorer, a tool that carves a temporary reality out of the infinite nothingness. Within its cone, the universe exists. Outside of it, there is only the void. It moves with deliberate slowness, tracing the contours of ancient limestone walls. The beam is a paintbrush, revealing a hidden geology sculpted across eons. Each sweep of the light is a question asked of the darkness, a careful, methodical search for a path forward. The pace is unhurried, born of discipline and a deep respect for the labyrinthine complexity of the cave system. Haste has no place here. The beam reveals textures of rock, carved by millennia of water flow. The walls are not smooth, but a tapestry of fossilized shells, scalloped edges, and intricate formations that tell a story millions of years in the making. It is a museum of deep time, where every surface holds a record of a world that existed long before humankind. The light catches the fine, suspended particles in the water, a glittering dust of silt and organic matter that hangs motionless, like stars in a galaxy. Then, without warning, the light flickers. A momentary falter, a brief interruption in the steady stream of photons. In the world above, it would be a minor annoyance. Here, hundreds of feet deep in the earth, it is a sudden, chilling premonition. It wavers, as if held by an unsteady hand. The perfect, solid cone of light loses its integrity, its edges softening. The unwavering focus that drove the exploration just moments before is now disrupted. The darkness at the periphery seems to press inward, reclaiming the space that the light had held at bay. The beam arcs downward, growing smaller and more distant until it is just a pinprick against an overwhelming dark. The instrument of consciousness, the anchor of reality, falls away into the abyss it was meant to conquer. The darkness rushes back in, absolute and final, and the solitary sound of breathing is now joined by the profound, unnerving silence of a light extinguished. This is not a story crafted for entertainment or glory. There are no monsters to be slain, no treasure to be found. It is an exploration of a different kind of frontier, one that exists not in the stars, but within the earth, and within the human mind. It is a quiet, factual account of a diver who understood the immense risks of his passion, and of a place that has claimed many who dared to enter its depths. This is a reconstruction of final moments, assembled from evidence and expertise, offered not as spectacle, but as a lesson a lesson written in the unforgiving language of physics, physiology, and the immutable laws of the deep. It is a tribute to a master of his craft, operating at the very edge of human capability. This is the true story of Wes Skiles at Eagle's Nest. To understand the gravity of this incident, one must first understand the individual at its center. In the world of extreme exploration, when something goes wrong with an expert, the question is never simply, what happened? But rather, how could a system of training, experience, and discipline built over years suddenly fail? The answer begins not in the darkness of the cave, but in the character of the diver himself. The diver was Wes Skiles, a resident of Florida. And here, it is important to clarify a point of potential confusion. This was not the renowned underwater filmmaker and photographer of the same name. That Wes Skiles was a celebrated pioneer who brought the beauty and mystery of underwater caves to the world. The man in our story shared his name and his passion for the subterranean world, but his path was one of personal exploration, not public exhibition. He was a quiet and dedicated member of the technical diving community. This Wes Skiles was a highly trained and deeply experienced technical cave diver. His journey into this demanding discipline was not a casual pursuit, it was a systematic progression built over many years. It begins with standard recreational diving, but quickly branches into a far more rigorous curriculum. He would have mastered advanced buoyancy control, navigation, and rescue skills before ever considering an overhead environment. He was not a novice drawn to danger by ignorance or ego. The path to becoming a deep, mixed-gas cave diver is intentionally arduous. It involves a ladder of certifications: cavern, to introductory cave, to full cave diver. Each step requires dozens of hours of training, practicing emergency procedures until they are pure muscle memory, handling total darkness, equipment failures, and navigating by touch alone. Skiles had climbed that ladder. He was a member of a global community that prides itself on a culture of extreme discipline, exhaustive knowledge, and rigorous adherence to safety protocols. In this world, trust is the ultimate currency, and it is earned, not given. It is earned through demonstrated competence, calm problem-solving under pressure, and an unwavering commitment to the team and the plan. He had successfully completed numerous deep dives, demonstrating a fluid mastery of the complex equipment and procedures required to survive in an environment where direct ascent to the surface is not an option. This included managing multiple gas cylinders, executing precise navigation in zero visibility, and adhering to complex decompression schedules. He knew the rules because he had lived by them for years. He understood the unforgiving nature of the environment he chose to explore. An environment that offers no second chances and punishes even the smallest mistake with absolute finality. The cave does not care about your experience or your intentions. It only responds to your actions in the present moment. His peers and fellow divers regarded him with the quiet respect reserved for the truly competent. This reputation was not built on bravado, but on a foundation of proven competence, calm-headedness, and unwavering reliability underwater. He was the kind of diver you wanted on your team when venturing into the unknown: dependable, prepared, and focused. He was known for his meticulous preparation and his deep understanding of mixed gas diving. For dives beyond the recreational limits of air, technical divers breathe a precise blend of helium, oxygen, and nitrogen called trimix. This requires a scientific approach to planning. Every dive plan is a complex equation, balancing depth, time, gas consumption, and the physiological effects of pressure. Skiles was fluent in this language of survival. He didn't just trust the plan, he understood the science behind it. In December of 2004, this deep well of experience and discipline brought Wes Skiles to one of Florida's most formidable underwater cave systems. He joined a small, hand-picked team for a dive with ambitious goals: deep exploration and mapping at a site known as Eagle's Nest. This was not a casual weekend dive, it was an expedition. Such dives are logistical masterpieces, involving precise gas plans and decompression schedules that can last for many hours. For every minute spent at the target depth, the divers would owe a heavy tax of time on the way back up. pausing at specific depths to allow their bodies to safely off-gas the inert gases absorbed under pressure. The plan was the lifeline. Every detail was calculated, every contingency considered. For a diver like Wes Skiles, this meticulous process was not a chore. It was the very foundation of exploration. The setting for this story, Eagle's Nest, is a place of notorious reputation. From the surface, a quiet circular pond surrounded by cypress and swampland. Beneath lies a subterranean cathedral of immense and dangerous proportions, known as the Mount Everest of cave diving. Not hyperbole, its lethality is well documented. The entrance descends to about 70 feet. A narrow vertical passage, the chimney, leads down to the system. It opens into the main ballroom, vast beyond the reach of powerful lights. From there, tunnels plunge to depths exceeding 300 feet. Silty floors can turn visibility to 0 in seconds. A silt out. Lose the guideline, and a diver is profoundly lost. Even with helium mixes, redundancy, and protocols, the cave remains a formidable adversary. The dive begins the way good dives always do. Quiet, deliberate, already half-finished in the planning. Minds settle. Bodies move with the economy of habit. Back-mounted cylinders settle against the spine. A test breath whispers through the regs. Manifolds close the loop. Gauges agree. The rhythm of preparation becomes the rhythm of descent. Systems are set for depth and time. Methodical, unhurried. Each motion confirming the next. Bottom mix runs helium forward and oxygen held low. Clarity preserved where oxygen itself turns hostile. Stage bottles ride along for the way home, marked for depth and purpose. Nothing here is casual. Each piece is a promise made in daylight. Single file now. Hands find the guideline. Thin, certain, threading the present to the surface. Spacing holds. Lights stay low and steady to see without dazzling. Through the chimney, stone draws close. The world narrows to a vertical thought before it opens into distance and black horizon. 100 feet, 150, 200. Pressure adds weight to every motion. Exhaled bubbles count the seconds we borrow from the plan. Movement slows by design. Each kick measured against gas, against time, against the long debt waiting above. Conserve, confirm, continue, never lose the line. The cave answers with quiet generosity. Arches, pale dunes of silt, a ceiling that slips beyond the beam. Particles drift like slow snowfall, tracing hidden currents. Beauty lives here beside consequence. Dense gas makes each breath work. Clarity must be protected, thought by thought, breath by breath. At these limits, the margin thins. The plan is the lifeline. The line is the law. And just beyond the edge of the light, the dark waits, patient, absolute. The team is deep in the main ballroom, a volume so large that even powerful lights dissolve at the edges. The water hangs with fine silt that glitters in the beams as the camera of attention drifts, slow and deliberate, across pale limestone and falling darkness. A single cone of light traces the wall, measured arcs, low and steady. For a moment, a second beam crosses the frame, then recedes to a faint glimmer. Spacing is good. The plan holds. Confidence lives here in small, disciplined motions. Gloved fingers write a taut guideline. Arrow markers pass under touch. A double ender clips and unclips with quiet certainty while the SPG needle creeps. Information turned into calm choices, breath by slow breath. The textbook response is simple and unforgiving. Stop. Breathe slowly. Touch the line. Signal. And wait. Lights sweep in controlled arcs held low to avoid silt. Training replaces impulse. Procedure displaces fear. In a room this vast, distance and angle conspire. Sound arrives from everywhere and nowhere. A single misplaced kick lifts a gray curtain, and visibility decays from hazy to almost nothing in seconds. The diver commits to a methodical exit along the guideline, slow, precise, until a small adjustment and a drifting arc of light break contact. The guideline is lost. He is now off it. He cannot find the line. Tactile search begins. A hand follows the wall, sweeping gently for the thread that leads home. Breathing sets the metronome. Bubbles rise past the edge of the beam and vanish into the ceiling's black. Then the primary slips. The lamp tumbles to the silt. its beam painting a slow ellipse on the floor. Training insists on restraint. Do not chase a falling light into darkness. The backup comes out clean, smaller, tighter, enough to stabilize the moment. But dense gas makes every breath work, and handling grows clumsy under pressure. A fumble, a slip, and the backup settles to the bottom as well. Darkness expands, patient and complete. Off the guideline and disoriented, he cannot relocate it. The faint road through space lies just beyond reach. Later, rescuers will confirm it. Both lights found away from the main line, gas running low, position offset, evidence that he was lost en route. In this environment, scale defeats certainty, and the margin narrows with every breath. Procedure buys time. Time buys options. And when the light is gone, the cave keeps what the cave is given. The record that remains is quiet and precise. Separation during the deepest phase, a textbook attempt to recover the line, a silt-stressed search, and 2 dropped lights off the route to safety. No faces here, no spectacle, only the immutable language of depth and darkness, and the thin line that means return. The rest will be told in the measured work of recovery. The search begins as it must, quiet and deliberate, following the book. Cones of light sweep the main ballroom in slow arcs through black water where silt hangs like snow. They hold spacing as hands ride the thin, certain guideline, while gloved fingers check knots and directional markers, and a palm-down signal keeps the team steady with silt held down. Instruments anchor the mind as the spool is managed, the slate kept ready, and depth and pressure cross-checked, and the team moves as one thought. A POV beam combs the floor with gentle dust-offs that raise no clouds, and the black gives back little until, after a short pause, a faint glint appears far below the line. They approach methodically with measured breathing and low lights as a body enters the edge of the cone, framed from the side in a dignified stillness. Nearby, the primary light lies on the floor, and a short distance farther, the backup rests as well, both no longer in the hands that held them. The position sits away from the main guideline, off the thread that leads home. Calm, clinical checks show no entanglement, trauma, or restriction, and the SPG reads near empty, while the remaining equipment appears intact. Taken together, the evidence points to disorientation and gas exhaustion, with a lost line, dropped lights, and mounting CO2 that narrowed the options until none remained. At this depth, recovery becomes its own expedition, so a marker is placed, coordinates are noted, navigation is fixed, and the plan expands to include hours of decompression. Team choreography stays precise as staged bottles are checked and routes confirmed, and a steady palm-down signal keeps the pace calm because this place punishes haste. At roughly 260 feet, the search ends in patient darkness. The facts remain: off the line, lights dropped, gas nearly gone, and that solemn truth is carried upward for the analysis to come. What went wrong? A cascade of failures. Investigations and community consensus point away from equipment malfunction or foul play. Instead, the severe cognitive and physiological effects of extreme depth. Even on helium-rich mixes, the mind does not function normally. Nitrogen narcosis, sometimes called the rapture of the deep, impairs judgment, slows reactions, and can induce euphoria or anxiety. A diver may leave the guideline or fail to monitor gas. Dense gas increases work of breathing, raising CO2 and risk of hypercapnia. Elevated CO2 causes headache, confusion, breathlessness, and panic. Chasing a team or swimming hard spikes CO2, confusion deepens. Impairment can lead to dropping lights and erratic swimming. A feedback loop: exertion, CO2 buildup, confusion, panic, faster breathing, higher gas consumption. Once lost in the dark without the guideline, gas exhaustion becomes inevitable. Section 8. The human element: narcosis and disorientation. Diving deeper into the why means focusing on the fragile interplay between mind and extreme environment. At depths approaching 300 feet, physics reshapes physiology. High-pressure nervous syndrome can cause tremors and cognitive deficits. Immense pressure, cold, limited sensory input, darkness. A diver can lose up from down and the ability to judge distance or time. Dropping two separate lights signals severe cognitive breakdown. Primary is held, backup is clipped. Losing both implies motor control and procedure failed. A sudden medical issue, an acute gas problem, or disoriented panic could trigger the loss. In total absence of light, the mind cannot form a usable map. The guideline effectively vanishes. Panic accelerates breathing, rapidly depleting gas, and destroys rational problem-solving. Alone, in the dark, off the line, anxiety or panic likely compounded narcosis or CO2 impairment. In the weeks that followed, a quiet shock moved through the cave diving world. The loss of Wes Skiles was felt as more than grief. It was a rupture that demanded reflection. When a skilled, respected diver dies in familiar water, the community turns inward, asking how to be better, safer, and more prepared. His final dive became a case study in advanced courses and team briefings, shared to educate with clarity, not to frighten. The message was consistent. Discipline, teamwork, and unwavering adherence to procedure save lives. Debate followed at Eagle's Nest. Periodic closures, reopenings, and proposals for stricter prerequisites to match the site's severity. Safety culture was renewed in practice. Never lose the guideline. Plan gas by thirds and verify it. Maintain situational awareness and speak up early. Because at depth, small issues, a touch of narcosis, a few extra kicks, a moment's delay, can compound quickly into real risk. The image of two lights on the silt endures as a sober teaching tool. Exploration continued, but with quieter confidence and deeper humility. The diving world honors Wes by learning from his last dive and carrying those lessons forward. Those lessons have already made subsequent dives safer. A quiet reflection. Respect for the deep. In the aftermath of a tragedy that ripples through a community, there is a period of profound silence. A silence that mirrors the depths themselves. It is in this quiet space that we move beyond the shock and the grief, not to find blame, but to seek understanding. It is here that the most vital lessons are found, etched into the memory of the water itself. The story of Wes Skiles and Eagle's Nest is not one of failure, but of the profound, unyielding power of the natural world. Wes was a master of his craft, a pioneer who dedicated his life to illuminating the hidden architecture of our planet. His work invited millions into a world they would never otherwise see. Yet, this story serves as the ultimate, somber reminder that the environment is the final arbiter. It demonstrates that even for the most experienced, the most prepared, the most passionate, the line between control and chaos is perilously thin. His legacy is therefore twofold, one of incredible inspiration and one of profound, necessary caution. It speaks to the absolute limits of human endurance, physical and psychological. Physically, the body is under siege. Every breath of dense, cold gas is a conscious effort, a tax on the respiratory system. The immense pressure is a constant crushing force, and all the while, a physiological clock is ticking. The decompression obligation, a debt to the laws of physics that must be repaid slowly, carefully, with no room for error or haste. Psychologically, the challenge is just as immense. The mind must operate with surgical precision in an environment of total sensory deprivation, fighting the insidious fog of narcosis and the primal, instinctive urge to flee when things go wrong. These places are governed by immutable laws: pressure, gas density, the absence of light. These are not rules that can be bent or negotiated. They are fundamental principles of physics. Pressure dictates how gases behave in our blood and tissues. Gas density determines our work of breathing and the efficiency of our gas exchange. The absolute darkness is a constant, broken only by the fragile technology we carry. They do not care about experience, courage, or intent. They demand respect. The cave does not recognize a resume. It does not acknowledge years of service, accolades, or the number of successful dives completed. It only responds to the actions taken in the present moment. It demands adherence to its unwritten but unforgiving protocols. the sanctity of the guideline, the unwavering discipline of gas management, and the humility to turn a dive at the first sign of trouble. Respect here is not an emotion. It is a practice, a discipline, a constant state of vigilance. 2 lost lights on the silt, 260 feet down, an enduring, haunting symbol. They are more than just equipment. They represent a cascade of events, a series of moments where small deviations compounded into an irreversible outcome. The primary light dropped. The backup activated, but also lost. They are a testament to how quickly a manageable problem can escalate under pressure, how fine motor skills and complex decision-making can degrade in the grip of narcosis and stress. They sit in the darkness as a quiet, powerful testament to the final moments of a struggle. Safety is a fragile chain, forged from hundreds of individual links. Equipment checks, gas planning, team communication, physical fitness, mental readiness, and adherence to procedure. Most of the time, this chain is strong, held together by training and discipline. But when one link breaks, a moment of inattention, a minor equipment issue, a slight misjudgment, the load is transferred to the others. If another link gives way, the chain can fail with terrifying, catastrophic speed. The cave keeps its secrets and can reclaim the light we bring. We enter these spaces as visitors, carrying our own small, battery-powered suns. We believe we are illuminating the darkness, but we are only ever borrowing a tiny pocket of visibility. The darkness is patient. It is the native state. A single misplaced fin kick, a moment of lost buoyancy, and the silt can rise like a curtain, instantly erasing the world. The cave doesn't take the light. It simply restores the natural order of things. This is a story told with a quiet voice, a memorial and a lesson. It is a narrative that belongs to the entire diving community and to anyone who ventures into wild places. It serves as a memorial not only to Wes Skiles and his partner, but to all those who have been lost to the allure of the deep. It is a lesson written not in a textbook, but in the hard reality of the abyss. This is not a warning to cease exploration, but a profound call to humility, exhaustive preparation, and an unwavering respect for our limits. The spirit of exploration is what drives us forward. But that drive must be tempered with a deep understanding of the risks. It calls for a culture where checklists are sacred, where gas plans are inviolable, where turning a dive is seen not as failure but as the highest form of success. It is a call to know your equipment, know your plan, know your partner, and most importantly, know yourself. We end where we began, in deep, silent water. A single beam once cut this darkness. It revealed wonders, it guided the way, it promised a safe return. Now, it is gone. And in its absence, we are left with the profound, humbling truth of the deep. The darkness was here before us, and it will remain long after we are gone. Respect the cave, honor the lost, learn the lessons. For in their memory, we find the wisdom to continue our journey into the great, silent, and beautiful unknown. We learn that the ultimate goal of any exploration is not just to see, but to return with the story.